Time is 5 o'clock. I call the meeting of the Etoka Municipal Golf Authority to order. Ask everyone to rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Face flag, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you bow, please? Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you this evening just asking your blessings over this meeting. Lord, just ask you to be with each and every one here and give us the wisdom to do the very best job we can for the authority. Ask you to also give everyone a safe trip home this evening after the meeting. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, good evening to everyone. Thank you for being here. This time I'd ask the clerk to call roll, please.
Ms. Thomas? Here. Mr. Burridge?
Here.
Mr. Henderson?
Here.
Mr. Armstrong?
Here.
Mr. Kathy?
Here. All right. Next item on the agenda is public comments. If there's anything that's not on the posted agenda, you may address the board at this time. Seeing and hearing none, we'll move down to the business agenda. Item number 1, discussion and/or action regarding approving and rejecting the minutes of the meeting of November 18th, 2024.
Chairman, I read the minutes, and they looked to me like they accurately reflected the business that happened on the November 18th meeting, so I'd make a motion that we approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas? Aye. Mr. Burridge?
Aye.
Mr. Kathy?
Aye. Item number 2, discussion and/or action regarding approving and rejecting the minutes of the meeting of December 2nd, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas? Aye. Mr. Burridge?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Kathy?
Aye. Item number 3, discussion and/or action regarding accepting and rejecting the superintendent's report. Attachment 3 in your file. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Doing just fine. Obviously, we're in a slow season now. We were in the dormant season till 80-degree day today, so I don't know if we're gonna go back green or not. But all areas, as of a week ago, were completely dormant, and all greens are dormant. There's still some areas trying to hang on, but I anticipate them going fully dormant pretty quick.
A few 27-degree mornings would kind of nip that a little bit, won't
Yeah, they kind of nipped them in the bud, but I'm probably going to mow them one more time, just kind of knock the dead thatch off the top and clean them up a little bit, but other than that, that'll be our playing surface for the winter time until they start growing again, so, we'll just kind of treat them as such and handle them when we need to. The pump houses are in the process of getting insulated and hopefully will be able to be heated. I've got the doors built. I'm waiting on Trask, next time he spray foams, to go up there and get them spray foamed, and then hopefully we'll be a little closer to getting those things completed, and then we still have to get a receptacle in there to put a heater in there. On number 7 pump, I was gonna kinda get you guys' opinion on how to insulate the pipes on the outside, being as they're standing in the water. I don't really know a good way to go about it. I've thought about buying a plastic trash can and filling it full of spray foam and putting it over the top, or just insulating it to the top of the water, hoping that the water insulates it itself. I just don't know the best way to do it.
You're talking about once it leaves 6 inches under the water to the pump house?
Yeah, it comes up and it's underwater for about 6 inches before it hits above, and then it goes into the pump
And
house.
that's PVC.
And it's PVC,
What size?
4-inch.
My suggestion would be reach out to Lock Supply or VMAC and look for some Armaflex type installation, see if that'd be available. That's the only thing I know that won't come apart in the water.
Yeah, and have to paint it, you'd have to paint it, cause it's.
Yeah, UV will eat it up.
Yeah, UV will let you that, but, that or make a mold out of PVC, bigger PVC, and spray foam it, fill it with spray foam.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would get more,
Create a casing around it.
I think, like a casing,
Could you bury it closer to the pump house?
do what?
Could you bury it to underground to the,
Well, it's where it's coming up out of the
Yeah,
lake.
it's comes, when
into
it
the
comes
pump
up
house.
Yeah.
out of the ground. Like number 9 pump, you know, it's out, it's fully out of the water. There's no water around it, whereas number 7 just sits in the water.
in the water.
Majority of the year. And where it comes up and where it goes down, it's standing in water, and then also our pressure release valve is in the water as well. So I've been trying to,
I know you're,
Wrap my head around
you're
that.
trying to get a quick fix here, but at some point, we need to rebuild that pump house completely,
both of them,
both of them, because, well, especially that one,
yeah.
because it's usually underwater.
Yeah.
You're standing in water in there when you're working on it.
Yeah, even when it was dry, it was only on water for
That's not
maybe
good.
35, 40 days.
Water and electrical pumps don't
Yeah.
typically go too well together.
And it's just small. Anytime you gotta get in there and work on that pump, or take the pump out, or get electrician in there and work, they're
Yeah.
just bumping their head.
Standing in water while you're
Standing in water the whole time.
Well,
You know,
yeah, we should
it
probably.
wouldn't be hard to pour elevate the concrete up higher where you're up out of the water.
We got 2 foot to work with.
Yeah. And then rebuild the pump house if we had to, because they're not very big. Those pump houses are 6 by 6 at the most.
5 by 4.
Okay.
Needs to be 6 by 6.
Needs to be,
What?
5 by 4 needs to be 6 by 6.
Yeah.
Needs to be 8 by 8
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
to be able to get around it and actually work on it.
yeah.
but,
That's something to think about for future. I know he's trying to get a quick fix now for the pipe, but
Yeah.
we don't want to spend much money on it. It's just gonna be a temporary fix for
I mean, there is some,
this winter.
if you could get some, couple of layers of Armaflex around it and just, more than anything, just wire it to
Yeah.
some sheet Armaflex, wrap around, cut it, and then just tie it off with zip ties.
Glue it
And
back
then-
together or whatever,
Yep,
yeah.
glue it, paint it.
And then paint it, yeah.
Paint it and it'll keep the UV off of it. It does not like sunlight.
okay.
But that's probably the most inexpensive way of correcting it right now. And you could slide it down under the water
Okay.
and put the next piece on. May need your duck waders while you're working on that, but it sounds like, but, other than that, there's some rigid type insulation, but you'd still have to put a jacket around it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well
If
that'd
it is
work in
gonna
the water.
be below freezing, like, for 48 hours or whatever, is there any way to drain?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we'll drain
If
the
the
line.
week or so that we get that is so cold here, we can drain some of that,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know that we would, well,
We'll need to drain the pumps and make sure they don't freeze,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
if we don't have.
20 degrees for,
Well, he's built a door for the pump houses. We're
Yeah.
gonna put a heat lamp or something
Yeah.
in there to keep those pumps
Yeah.
from freezing.
I don't have concerns with the pump freezing. I just got, you know,
Yeah.
we have lines out there that are 2 or 3 inches underground, and then, of course, all of our boxes I'm gonna insulate. I'm just gonna go grab a bunch of, you know, R30 if I can find some. I think Dane might have a bunch of spray foam stuff, shavings left over. I'm just gonna pack those valve boxes full of that and just,
Yeah.
you know, hope for the best. They're buried deep enough, but they probably still need some type of insulator.
Well, I mean, until you get down to one of those winters like we had 2 or 3 years ago, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't
We're
matter.
not designed for that kind of weather.
yeah, we're not.
This part of the world, we don't bury our lines deep enough, and our typical frost lines max is about 12 inches on a really hard year, and it gets below that when,
Yeah.
like we had 2 or 3 years ago, so.
But yeah, if we do see a 2 or 3 dayer coming, there's an end cap on the intakes of both of those pumps on that outside pipe, that you just unscrew that, and it drains it from the pump, and then you open up the pressure relief valves and let them just flow out.
Was it the number 7 pump that had the intake taken out of the water at some point this summer? Is that the
Yes.
pump?
Yep.
So that one ran for multiple days with no
Yeah,
fluid running through it. The fact it's still operational is pretty amazing.
yeah. We probably need to think about sending that back to the company and seeing what
They
they can do with
get
it.
some estimates on what that might cost,
Yeah,
so we can look at approving those funds for that if it needs to be. So we're
Sure.
prepared for it before it does come apart.
yeah, I'm sure that impaler is,
The
Little
seal
ones.
between the impeller housing and the
Yeah.
output, you know, the input shaft of normally, when you run them dry like that, the heat builds up and you
Yeah.
wipe out those seals there and they quit pumping,
oh yeah.
if you don't heat up the impeller in the process.
Hopefully the Venturi had water in it during that time that didn't get moved. But If it didn't, I would say the seals are burnt up.
I know the inside seal is.
Oh, it is?
And that's just basically where that spinning rod goes into the after factory, piece. Right there, it's leaking water pretty bad, but it's still holding, it's not enough leakage to not hold prime either, so. I'm just trying to make it till winter time, and now we're here, so. And we have a backup five horse pump that we can take that one off, and we just don't have as much pressure for the fairways. The greens will still run just fine, but the fairways with 5 heads shooting 90 foot will lose about 10-foot head. But
We're in a new, this is the first year ever we've kept the irrigation system primed up through the winter,
yeah,
because of these new greens.
he said
So-
he wants water on it once every 10 days during dormant season. But as long as we're getting rainfall, we don't have to, or sufficient amount of rainfall, we don't have to really throw water on. It's just more so to keep that top layer moist, a little bit of moisture in it, so. But that is the downfall to keeping those pumps primed through the winter time, is you take that risk too, so. Got that. Clubhouse is now closed during the week. I'm probably about to close it down on the weekends as well, because I think this was all, when I typed this up, I'm not anticipating more 80-degree days. But I'll just kind of play it by ear. If it looks like it's gonna be a pretty weekend, I might call Chance back in there and let him run it, and try to keep, because I think what we're having problems with right now is, 2 people might show up, but they only pay, 1 green fee and one cart rental, and the other person gets to play for free. But,
Mhm.
That's just somebody not being there full-time, at the clubhouse to make sure that doesn't happen. But I don't wanna do that on the weekends, cause we have, right now, a lot more play on the weekends than we do during the week. So I'm still gonna play that one by ear. I thought about doing it this coming weekend.
What video surveillance do you have there? Pretty good, as far as on the number 1 tee and
We've
the
got,
box? Cause that could be a pretty easy check with a good video surveillance.
yeah,
I mean, you can see how many people teed off and how many couldn't. You could call them on it, especially, because if they get to doing it, they'll make a habit of it.
Make a habit. The camera,
Even if you put a sign up there that says, you're under video
Yep.
surveillance.
yeah,
It might.
might help them out. I'll do that.
Yeah,
I can put that right there on that big black board.
Mhm.
and that'd make them think.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause it's hard to tell, 'cause a lot of them, I don't even think they sign in, they just put money in the box and then roll on, but yeah, we can put that on the board, and maybe that'll keep them a little more honest. So, spoke with John at Innovative Turf Supply about getting some soil samples taken this winter. He said he was gonna try to make it, but obviously he's not here, so I'll try to explain it best I can. Basically what his company does is they specialize in greens health. So when they come and take a soil test, they're not just, telling you what you need or what your pH level is. They'll tell you that stuff too, but they'll break it down to its finest absolute salt and calcium and how those things react and eat the fertilizer that you're giving it. Because what you'll see a lot of times is if you go out and you throw fertilizer on this grass, for the first 2 or 3 days, it might just jump up and just be green and pretty, and then it kind of stalls out until you fertilize again. Well, that's where they come in, is try to figure out why it only did that for 2 or 3 days. And they're gonna figure out what bits and pieces of that fertilizer you're throwing out that they're eating, and they're gonna figure out what will slow that process down and make them digest that fertilizer longer. So in the end result is you'll have a fertilizer that you throw out, and that grass will eat it for 7 to 10 days instead of just 2 to 3, so that you're only down on the downslope for 3 or 4 days, and so it stays green, and you figure out exactly what that grass is needing, and not just randomly going out there and just throwing a triple 13 and hoping it works, or
Basically
or-
optimizing the.
Yeah.
Is this a
expense.
service that he provides
Yes.
for a monthly
Yes.
fee, or,
It's not really, you don't have to sign a contract or anything with them.
and they supply the fertilizer, is that what?
They can.
They sell you the
You know,
fertilizer?
they'll basically take these samples and tell you exactly what you need, and if you can get it somewhere else cheaper, then they say go get it somewhere else cheaper. But if you want them to come in and do, 4 times a year, cause you might get to a point 5 months in and, you're back to the 2 or 3 days worth of green, and so you can call them back in, they'll take a soil sample and then refigure out, okay, well, now it really likes that stuff and it's just eating it and as fast as it can, so let's look at something different and see if we
Did
can
they give you
go
a
that way.
cost estimate on what?
They would do the first soil samples for free. He did say he wants to come in and do that stuff for free. He did ask that if we do so, that, obviously we buy something off of them at some point, whether it be just green colorant or some of their, like the Thrive that I use, it's just basically a root inhibitor. So, but
Well, that's simple enough if it's competitive
Where are they
price.
from, CJ?
they're from Pilot Point. They're only 2 blocks from the people we've got our sprigs off of, and that's who they use for all of their turf needs down there, is Innovative Turf, so. it's
Will they
kinda-
deliver the product?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he said they'll deliver for free if we call, give them in advance, but if we need it like, tomorrow or something, then we probably couldn't do that for free. They'd have to ship it and freight it. But I told him, I said, well, I can drive down there and get it too, that's no big deal. I'd like to see
When
it.
do you wanna do the first soil sample, you think? Pretty soon?
He said pick a warm day, which I wish I
Yeah.
would've called him today, but, hopefully soon,
Yeah.
especially before.
And they'll come do it because
Yeah.
they'll come do soil
Yep.
sample.
Yep, they'll come do it all. So I definitely wanna get him in here within the next month, just to see where we're at, cause I'm pretty sure our greens are gonna be pretty inconsistent from top tier to bottom tier.
I think it's a great idea,
Yeah, I
especially
like
with
it.
the
I
cost.
love it.
Because
It-
we do need to keep.
That's a good insurance policy too, a little bit.
It really is.
For how much money that we have in these new greens.
Yeah.
Well,
And not just the money, it's the lost revenue.
And basically, he's doing this as a service to sell you product.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, as
that
long
you
as it's
gotta buy
competitive,
somewhere
if it's
anyway, yeah.
competitively priced.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't need triple 13, you need a different blend to maximize.
Right.
Yeah.
That's smart. 'Cause that stuff's not
And you
cheap.
may not even need fertilizer, you may need,
Yeah, it might be something
Something else.
like lime or calcium,
Right.
something more salt based,
yeah, we waste a lot of fertilizer, all of us, everywhere.
so. But like I said, that is what they specialize in, so. I can give them a call.
I know just the soil samples I did on my yard is vastly different from one side of my yard to the other, what the needs are.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because we talked about soil samples, which I've got a sampler to pull and take it to your, our local office, but
yeah.
Hey, and this spring is gonna be critical, condition wise, after being shut off for all of this year,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
need it the best it could possibly be. If that will help that happen, then I'm all for it.
We got the gentle frost, that I was telling you guys about, we got that, I think that kinda eased us in the wintertime, a lot better than a 17-degree, with a 50-mile-an-hour north wind frost would've done, but, so that's a good thing. I'm not seeing any places on the course that I'm noticing kinda that grayish, I would say grayish look to it, which means it's already scarring up a little bit. It all looks healthy, dormant grass, so, I'm happy about that. Plan on getting the irrigation started up here pretty quick, with all the boxes, and building new boxes, which we'll talk about in a bit. Overall, the course is, in my opinion, it's in good shape. I think we eased in the wintertime perfectly. And obviously this warm weather does hurt us, but it also helps us a little bit. So I think we keep going the route we're going, I think we're gonna be just fine.
Very good.
CJ, what about that spot on the number 5 green where it holds water so bad?
That, I think, is due more to the shade from one pine tree, and it is the pine tree, as soon as you're turning right to go to number 6 tee box, that big pine tree right there. I do think that's our problem,
Really?
because all day long right now, it stays in shade right there on that one spot. And that's the only spot on that green that's showing me any type of, you know, not liking where it's at type deal. So our options on there is to either cut the top out of it or cut the entire thing down. I'll leave that up to you guys, cause that is a big healthy pine tree.
In the summer,
Summertime, it's fine, it
It's
doesn't
fine.
hit, but when that sun starts going down this way, it gets right behind, that's
this
just
time of year,
more-
there's a lot of places that are shaded.
My vote would be not to tear it down, just to see how that spot
Okay.
reacts to the new sunshine,
Summer.
spring and summer.
Well, and you could top it a little bit this February I don't know if that would
I don't know if it gets you enough,
hurt the
but
tree.
is it just because the sun's not shining on it, absorbing the water, it's just kind of
yeah, it's just kinda never warms it
wet
up.
on
So
top, Chris, that was doing?
I'll just,
in theory, everything that gets watered and that water sits, it does sit a little bit longer on that one spot. It still absorbs, but not as fast as the rest of the green. So when the sun comes up and then everything else is, you know, got sunlight on it and this part has shade on it, you know, this temperature over here is, you know, could be 68, 70 degrees while this temperature is still staying in the 50s, just right there, and it's wet. So it's just not like allowing it to evaporate as quick as the rest of the green.
Any other questions, comments?
The tree problem on the whole course, talked about thinning them out. Does anybody have any input on that?
Talking about
Going
live
up- Going up
trees?
number 1, there's, in my opinion, way too many trees. I think it's sucking a lot of the water out of our fairways. Between 1 and 2, there's a double row of trees and the sycamores are gigantic. My opinion is cut 40-50% out of it. We'd grow better grass, put better use to our water. We need to be thinking about that this winter, if that's something we want to undertake. Trees take an enormous amount of water.
And I can mark them too. If y'all want me to mark them, and then
And
everybody
it
can
keeps
come
that
out
whole
there.
area in the shade.
I would say
That
this.
never hits sunlight.
If we're, I don't have a problem doing that. I think on number 1, it just, that fairway gets limited sunlight just because of all the shade that it creates.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you cut them down, you ain't getting them back. So
No, and
my
I
idea
don't-
maybe is go a little louder than you want it first, just to see how it reacts.
You could
Yeah.
always take a bit
Can't,
of bite later.
can't put it back
Can't
on,
put it
That's a,
back.
that's a
can't
good.
drill a hole, put a peg in it, and stand it back up on
Yeah.
it,
A little duct tape.
wrap some duct tape around the bottom of it.
Well, I tell you what I'll do. I'll mark all the trees that, in my opinion, need to be cut down, and then I'll text everybody, tell them to come out there and take a look. You know, whether you want to do it with me there or just drive around and play golf and look yourself. And I'll put a pink ribbon or some colored ribbon on them so that you can look at it. And if you don't like it, then go over there and
I
take a
think
ribbon
that's a
off
good
of it.
idea. And
Yeah.
the free labor
Yeah.
this winter, there's a lot of guys that'd be out there cutting them down and hauling it off.
So
If
you
it's
could
out
cut them
there.
off about 7 or 8 foot tall, and have one look like Carl, one look
Yeah.
like Marty, one look, make little personal statues
Doing this
out
deal
there.
too.
Now, the downfall I will say on number 1 is we'll have to follow them back into the fairway, cause there is a telephone line right on the other side of them. So the only direction we can go is 180 degrees this way.
You're talking about up by the green or going up the cart path?
No, on the fence line.
On the
there.
fence line. Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's,
going up 1.
yeah.
And the power company would probably top those for us if we wanted them to.
That's
Or thin them, I don't know if they'd thin them out, but
They won't thin them, they'll
they'd
just top
definitely
them.
top them. But,
a lot easier to cut down.
yeah,
Well, there's some big
I was
pretty
more
trees
talking
in
in
there.
between one and two.
Gosh.
That double row of trees in between one and two going up. I'd like to see a lot of those gone.
Well, look at them, mark them. Get some ideas, but I do agree with Mark.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to come back later and take another one or two out than try to glue one back together.
And it stays bare dirt, you know, that whole area all the way up to the green stays bare dirt.
I think it's a lot of problems with the erosion you're seeing on the edge of the cart path too,
Right.
is it's all shaded up through there. It's really hard. So, okay. Any other comments or questions?
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent's report.
Okay.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong,
Aye.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Mr. Kathy,
Aye. Item number 4, discussion and/or action on approving or rejecting the payment of purchase orders for the Etoka Municipal Golf Authority for the month of November 2024. Attachment 4.
I had one question. This general liability auto insurance of $1,100, that's a one-year deal, right?
I believe it is correct. I can follow up with this
It's-
treasurer and.
It's a yearly, right? I'm okay with it. I was,
Let me find it here.
Is it
or
a,
quarterly or semi, I can't
I
remember.
think it's semi.
Is it semi-annual?
Yeah.
Is it-
That makes sense.
is it for the golf course?
Yes.
Okay.
For our equipment?
Equipment, I'm sure it's gonna be the
And
clubhouse.
Yeah, okay, we have, yeah,
Yeah.
And the,
just a
and the
general
general liability part too.
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
right.
That mean, I don't know of any autos that we have, but there may be something that they use,
Well, maybe, I wonder if like our tractors would fall into that.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know how they classify all that. So,
Well, right above that's property
Well,
insurance.
CJ
Quarterly.
runs over a car on the lot with the tractor, then that's what it's for.
Depends on whose card it.
Yeah.
okay.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the payables.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, pay the purchase orders. Roll call, please.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Mr. Kathy,
Aye. Item number 5, discussion and/or action on purchasing or leasing golf carts. Who does this one go to? CJ?
I just wanted to get kind of a gathering of what everybody's thinking, when, you know, because Bernie reached out to me again and sent me another reevaluated that had prices lower, because they were having kind of an end of the year deal, because the prices next year are gonna go up another probably 300 from what they quoted us the first time for the same carts, just a near, I guess one year newer models. So I was just kinda seeing what everybody's thoughts were. I mean, I know we can't do it right now, obviously, but, you know, I've had lots of folks asking me as well, same questions, you know, when we go get new carts, when we go get new carts, and I don't wanna tell them, I don't know, you know, I
Yeah.
wanna tell them, you know,
Well, you know, again, I know we looked at doing a line of credit, but that for operational things, but, I mean, are the carts in bad enough shape they're at the end of life, or what, I mean, cause your cash balances are low and you're rolling into the slowest time of the year, so.
we'll
I mean,
make it
that's
through
the-
winter time. I think we'll make it through winter time fine, but we'll probably have to buy probably 20 new batteries around April before we get into the summertime play and all that stuff, is what I foresee happening.
My thoughts on it are, and you know, I've talked about this, I would love to go to the leasing option. I think it's the best way to go. In my personal opinion, I know most of the courses that I'm familiar with lease all their golf carts, they do that for a reason. You get a fresh fleet every 3 or 5 years, however you wanna do it, and you just roll on. That said, I also wanna be at a point where we can obligate a contract that we sign.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but to my mind, if we get to a point where, And I like to do these things probably need to be done in the face of earnings. And so if we get into the spring and we're, because if you look at if you looked at this report right here on the balance sheet, year-to-date report, we're about $100,000 behind last year in yearly revenue.
Yeah.
And we know
We know.
it. So, but if we get back to that point, to me, it's a no-brainer, because the rentals will outpace
Yeah.
the lease payment.
Well, with the green renovations and everything else that was done out there, that hindrance this year, everybody knew that going in, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree, I think, if you're looking at owning and then, if you can outright sell the ones you have, cause I'm assuming the course owns all those right now currently, correct?
Mhm.
So, we'll need to be careful how we structure that. A lot of times that has to be a surplus type
So,
sale. We'll have to check with the city attorney on that. So it can't, I don't think you use car lot them up front of the clubhouse that way. I think it has to be a competitive sale.
maybe
being
a sealed bid type deal, or,
Under the authority, yeah, you would possibly. I mean, we can look at what the options are with the city attorney on that. I do agree. I mean, you figure out what your battery life is, and that's what you set your term to, because that's your biggest expenditure, is trying to keep.
Yeah.
What's a set of batteries costing nowadays on your golf cart?
I think right at $800 through,
For all the
Power.
batteries to do it?
Yep.
So that's a $16,000 expense if we had to buy 20 sets.
Yeah.
What's a new cart cost?
A brand new one in today's model, about $6,200.
Okay.
Howard quoted me a set for $921.77. That's individual, he might give us a discount for the golf course. I don't know.
Well, he may be changing out your cables and all that as well in that.
Don't think so.
Okay. So those are things to look at, and then what options come on those carts. If there's other accessories that are on those carts
Other
with the
than the
lease.
batteries, the carts they pretty bad shape as far as. How many could you,
Not anything that's a big expense, maybe a leaf spring replaced. Tires, I think we've got plenty of tires and rims stocked up. I think we're good on that.
well, the only reason I ask is Jeff and I have been experienced with these new lithium batteries, and you can change the battery and the charger out
I had,
for not much more than $800.
I had
They've got them
$1,200
batteries
in
now.
mine,
Yeah, no, that's even got cheaper now.
that's even gotten cheaper, I was the first one to do it.
Yeah,
And
and I did one, and they're working.
and my
great.
cart went, how many holes before it died? 70,
It was like
72 or 3 holes,
Yeah.
and it just completely died.
Well, that's the difference between lithium and the lead acid.
But that's an awesome
Exactly.
endeavor, 72 holes without a charge,
Well, yeah.
and it went just as strong as that 72nd hole,
But
right up
lithium,
until it died,
Yeah.
as it did the first hole.
yeah, lithium has full power to about 5 or 7% of
Yeah.
the battery life. Lead acid has about a 50% power range, and then
So we
after
might
that,
look
it's
at that
below
for
12
yours.
volts, and everything starts to
Well,
put
It got
down.
even cheaper.
And they're supposed to last 10
Online,
years
I
too.
ordered them online, did it myself. But
And I
was
caught a
one of
Black
the
Friday
first ones
sale
to
and
do it.
bought a
And
battery
they-
for,
Just
I
like
think it was
flat
like
screen TV, you're gonna pay a
$675
premium
and the
up
charger
front. Now
for
they
like
just keep getting
200.
cheaper and cheaper.
so I
You
had
probably get it done for
under
1,000.
900 in the complete change-up.
So that's
Maybe
an
you go
option,
to
then just go lithium.
And that's with the
Yeah.
charger.
'Cause I'm gonna
Is there, there's
Before
not
you buy
a,
any batteries, I'd
You
like,
have to buy a charger too, but that.
I think
that
we
was
ought to
worth it.
try.
and is there a bracket or anything that you got put?
Oh, yeah. Once mine gets
Into
where it
the
won't do
bottom?
36 holes.
It'll have an onboard charger. You just raise the seat and it's a 120 volt plug.
Well, I mean, like where the battery sits, or do you just pull them batteries up and set the lithium battery down in there?
That's the way I did mine.
Okay.
Are they the same
Strapped
size?
it down.
No, they take up half what those lead acid batteries take.
Yeah, 'cause
I've
it's
got
all
a
way
whole
a
half of
third.
my
It's all one big
cart
battery.
that's open.
Yeah.
And
And
you're-
that's where I set my charger.
The other side of it is you're looking at about half the
Chargers.
weight,
Yeah.
Third,
third of the weight.
yeah, about
Yeah.
a
Real
third.
small.
I converted mine to lithium too, just about a month ago, and it's,
Yeah, Mark's done his too.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
think I got 72
Chris-
holes.
Yeah.
out
I
of the
mean,
charger.
fix you
leasing some, and then possibly keeping some of the others that we already own and modifying them, and,
yeah,
maybe do some custom airbrush work on them.
yeah.
I think the lease option's a good thing if we can if we can weather the winter months,
Yeah.
you know, when the revenue's down, we're still gonna make that list.
Well, we're gonna
payment.
pay for it regardless, whether we're having to buy new carts or doing the lease. I mean,
Sure.
it's an expense we're going to have that we need to face. Yeah.
Get ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it cost a month?
On the new one he sent us, it come in right at 1,800 for the 20 brand-new carts, and then leaving us 10 of the ones we have now. So we'd have a 30-car fleet with 20 of them brand-new for 18, right at 1,800. The old quote back in July or August, I think, is the last time we quoted. It was 21 or 2,200, so,
Per month,
per month, yeah.
and there's no restrictions or stipulations on, they don't have hour meters on them, I guess.
No, it's a, I believe it's a 5-year contract. We can reduce it down to a 3-year. I don't know what all that would incorporate, but those things come fully loaded with the ice chests on them. Basically everything, and they're brand new, never been drove.
Can an authority, yeah, because we can get loaded.
So a 5-year, that means you gotta keep the carts for 5 years and then that changes.
You don't,
Or you can-
I don't believe you have to. I think you can opt out of it, at any point. I'd have to call Bernie again, but I don't know.
Well, if they're gonna change the carts out though, is that 3 or 5 years when they change them out?
Probably 5 years, if they was gonna change them out with brand-new carts.
And we'd be not responsible for any upkeep.
Nope. If anything breaks down, they're supposed to come down and fix it and handle it.
I'm sure we gotta keep the batteries wet, if it's a lead acid batteries.
And I think, which I'd have to look on there again, I'm not too sure that they're not
Lithium?
lithiums already in the new
They could
ones.
be.
I think the used
Most
ones were
are.
regular batteries, and the new ones had lithiums in them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And how many carts would we have that we could sell?
Well, we'd basically be trading in 14 of our carts, and that would obviously come down on their price, and that's where they would get us our monthly price from, and we would keep 10 of our best ones here that we could switch out, the batteries and put lithiums in them, and that's what would give us a 30-cart fleet.
They would take the other 14, we wouldn't have to sell them?
It's a trade-in.
That's part of
Trade
it.
in.
Yeah.
Trade in the price, yeah.
See if you, on a lease or outright purchase.
They outright buy them, and then they have their lease price is this, and then whatever they buy our carts for reduces our lease price.
Okay. Now, you can do that without having to go through a surplus. We'll verify that with Johnny, but if you wanna trade them in like that versus sell them outside of the lease.
It's really a math problem, and I know we got other stuff to do, you got other meetings, but, just a simple math is, if we thought the shell of our carts would last 3 more years, then the business decision is to convert them to lithium. Or buy lead acid batteries, because that's gonna cost a lot less over a 3-year period than it would to do an $1,800 a month lease over 36 months.
Right.
Significant savings.
Right.
But the question is just how do you want your carts to look? Do you know? and
Yeah, exactly.
You want,
Spray
And,
paint 'em.
yeah. A year from now, we
So at this
This might
time,
be
no
the
action.
to do the lease.
What I'm hearing is just go get some more data and have information,
Yep.
pull the trigger
Yeah.
sometime spring, see how revenues are doing.
Is that just one vendor you've had a quote from? I would think we'd get several bids.
And the reason I went with those guys is because Tishomingo uses them, McAllister Country Club uses them.
Oak Hills, they may use them because they're getting a new fleet in January.
Oak Hills?
But they're gonna be in the area, is what you're saying, when
Yeah.
you need maintenance and repairs
Yeah.
done.
How many carts would Oak Hills have?
I bet they've got 40 or 50, I'm guessing. I mean, 18-hole course. They'll probably say we could do 4 carts per hole over 18 holes, at any one time.
So just no action on this item. Do I hear a motion on this tonight?
No, I don't think we need to make a motion. I think CJ's
All right.
just wanting to kind of get
Move this,
through.
okay. Then we'll move on to item number 6, discussion and/or action on maintenance, repairs, or replacing the golf cart storage barn.
Again, same type deal. I'm just trying to get where everybody's at on thinking, you know, what's our plan? Cause I don't know how many golf carts we've got down there in those lower sheds. But at the same time, if we get into a winter time where I end up getting a 6 or 7 inch snow, which is possible, I don't see them taking that very well.
Standing up?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You've seen them.
I'm trying to figure out how to get, you know, whoever's left down there in them cart sheds, you know, along with all of our rental carts, you know, kind of a place to go quickly, you know, even if it's just for a few days, if we have to leave them outside, you know, I'm probably gonna pull them all out just in case that happens. But I wanted to get it, kind of an idea of what everybody was thinking as far as a timeline on what we wanna do about that.
I would like to get a bid. Now, we also need to get with the city because ours are metal right now, and I don't know if we can, or it's gotta be some type of special engineered metal if you wanna do that.
Well, that's on commercial buildings and residential. I mean, that's something that we can definitely look at, come before the board.
We had a bid at one time with a member who has that. It was like 25,000.
32,000.
32,000.
And that was all metal, and then all the volunteers was gonna supply all the labor.
And that was for a single, it was not a
That was for
petition
a,
off, was it?
No.
that was for either a 36 wide or 40 wide by 120 foot long building.
And I know this may upset some people, but I would like to get away of the partitioned golf carts. I think it should be one big shed. And everybody parks their cart there.
It'd be cheaper
It'd
too.
be cheaper.
a lot
Put more in
cheaper.
there.
Put more in there. You could do middle row.
It's just
outside door.
the efficiency and functionality.
You gotta have a door for every petition.
Well, I'd like to build it, you know, big enough that we can move everything from the top shed, all the carts from the top shed down into the lower. That way we actually have a place to put all of our equipment, all of our attachments.
Well, I think
You
the
know.
only thing with that, Mark, I can see having just one big shared space is people's concern about clubs coming up missing or something to that nature.
I understand that, and I think that risk, and hey, that's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can put a camera inside,
Multiples.
multiples, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime you can you're saving a lot of labor, a lot of material when you're not putting petition walls up, even if they are just, you can spray foam the whole building, the whole envelope of the building.
Just the door savings alone, and
Oh,
not
yeah.
having 150 doors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just have one big one,
That would be huge.
one big one.
But, you know, I think, just like before, it's a math problem. We gotta figure out we're gonna have to increase the rates for the rentals.
See, here's my deal, is this is like, something like this is the perfect opportunity to use that revolving line of credit if you want to do something like this. Yeah, I think it's dangerous and irresponsible to do it now,
Yeah.
but as we get into spring and we see that the place picking up and revenues pick back up, then that's something I'd want to jump on.
Yes.
What would really be nice is if Danny could find us some grant money for that.
well, I mean, that's in part of his day, if there's an opportunity, we'll look for those, but he's already pulling about 14 to 15 hours a day right now, so.
Yeah, we applied
We're
for,
gonna give him a little slack right now, so.
we applied for a T-Mobile grant
Mhm.
on this and we got denied.
Okay.
That was last year, I believe. Yeah, we had Jamie Miller's mom,
Tammy.
Tammy, helped us out.
So, I mean, there may be something through the tourism department or something along those lines that may, I don't know if there's anything like that that would help with tourism dollars. We can definitely keep our eye out. I mean, everything that comes through City Hall, we'll definitely, if there is an opportunity that we think it'll fit for the golf authority, we'll definitely.
I think Lindsay, Oklahoma got some kind of a big grant. I'll try to find out.
Yeah,
who-
see if you can figure out what department that came through or what division, if it was private sector or if it was a governmental deal for tourism or quality of life type items or something. Okay. So same thing, just, start plugging some numbers and see what.
Yeah, you might get an updated,
Quote.
bid on it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, item number 7, discussion and or action on retaining Mizuno
Zuno.
as our clubhouse product supplier.
I'm supposed to meet with their rep this week, and I'll have numbers for you as far as, you know, what they had to offer and what we'd make off their product. I really just wanted to talk about and make sure everybody was okay with Mizuno.
I'm hearing a lot of folks who also would like Titleist.
Titleist, okay.
And I've actually got the rep's number. I'll give that to you.
Yeah, send that to me,
I'll text it to you tonight.
okay.
Did we have any kind of agreement with Strixon?
We did, it's over.
We did.
It's over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything we have in the clubhouse right now that is still Strixon is what we've already purchased and what we have left.
Okay.
So once that runs out, we have no more.
Also, so Brian, how that works is with Strixon, they would let us, they would give us, they would send us our inventory like 4 times a year, and they would let us pay it out over certain periods of the year, so that you
Okay.
didn't have to pay it all
Pay
at
it all
once.
at once, okay.
And they would tell you what your markup potential was, and what your, of course, what you're paying wholesale versus what they suggest. I'm sure Mizuno does the same.
Yeah.
Then you have another company you want to do?
With Titleist, I'd like to see what they offer too, just so we'll have an
So
option.
Mizuno, Titleist,
I'll
No.
get you that.
I think Titleist is Acushnet, isn't
I don't know.
None of these agreements are sole agreements, they can be non-exclusive agreements, I'm guessing.
We
You
can
can-
ask
you
those
can s-
questions, because I haven't asked that.
Yeah, you can, I mean, some may want exclusivity to, I wanna be the only one in there,
yeah.
which, understandable.
Mhm.
I can understand them asking for that.
Oh, I
So
got
that's
you.
something to
got you.
check on, cause if he's wanting to,
And plus, there's probably gonna be a minimum purchase
Sure.
amount, and we just don't have, it's not gonna be that big with us. With Strikes On, I think it was, Chris, was it about $6,000 a year is what it cost us to outfit the clubhouse?
it? At least.
Yeah,
I think it may have been closer to 8,
okay.
or at least that's what they
Mhm.
sold.
12 putters later.
okay, so on this item, do I hear a motion, or are we gonna wait?
We're gonna wait for CJ to give us the numbers, as he's gonna meet with the Strikes On guy this week,
Okay.
The
or next week.
Mizuno guy.
Mizuno, sorry, yeah.
And then I'll call the Titleist guy
Yeah, I'll
tomorrow.
have to go through my text messages and,
Okay.
but I'll get it to you.
Okay. All right. You're gonna be a busy little fella. Okay, item number 8, discussion and or action on increasing or restructuring fee schedules for all golf course related fees.
Basically raising membership fees. Cause I mean, we're doing, I think we're doing everything that we can on the golf course presently to try and draw people in. And that's gonna work, it's gonna work out a lot better this next year than it has last year, but at the same time, we still got to figure out, a pretty solid revenue base, that we can rely on, that's not based solely on visitors, cause those same visitors that we're relying on right now is still the same ones that we're hoping come in there and buy a bunch of our product. And I just kinda have been talking to quite a few of our members, and nobody's had a problem with any of the numbers that I've thrown at them. And actually one member had suggested the numbers that I'm gonna tell you, which is, I'm thinking 60 and older, stay at 45, individuals up to 60, and then families are at 75 a month. And that still makes us the cheapest golf course in the area, because Tishomingo's rates are 75 for individuals, and I think 90 or 95 for families. So we're still the cheapest golf course in the area, but with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, we've got to figure out a way to generate a lot more revenue outside of just what we're doing on the golf course, trying to bring folks in. Cause we're still gonna be doing, hopefully not as much construction this year as we did last year, but we're still gonna be out there fixing and growing a lot of areas in this year.
What was the under 60 rate?
45,
Over 60.
Over 60?
over 60, yeah,
Over 60 was 45?
yeah.
What about
What
below
was that?
75 under 60 was it?
75? No, that was families.
Okay.
Give it to me one more time.
Alright. Over 60,
Okay.
or 60 and older, whichever way you wanna go about it, 45
Got it.
a month. Individuals are at $60.
Okay.
And then families for 75.
We still have around 180 members, 190.
We've
Yeah.
got over 200,
Oh, we do?
close to 213, I believe, at this point. And I did just kind of a soft estimate on 25% of that being 60 and older gentlemen, at 45, and then 35 to 45% being individuals, and then the rest being families. And that would almost double our membership revenue every month.
And our revenue now is only about 7,500,
It's about 7,000.
7,000.
Have we lost any members because of the change?
One, so, because of the, which change?
The filling out the new,
No, we've lost one so far, but, that's gonna be the next, I'm gonna need to recruit some help in getting these signed.
we may have to just do a
That'd be
mailing
nice.
of
Yeah.
And getting
What
what?
those new
Chase sent me the
forms.
text, I still forget.
Oh, for the,
I've got one for y'all guys.
Bank
I've seen
drainage?
one.
We're efficient.
I haven't done it.
You'll learn
Have you
that.
done it?
Well, I tried.
So we may have to get Johnny to give us an extension.
Don't let me forget it. I need to bring him a blank check.
So what kind of help do you need? Just locating people and getting signatures and voiding checks. The signature's probably more important than voiding check, because they got their sign on it. But, CJ, you and I have talked about this too, is I'm all for increasing our rates, because I think we're too cheap. I think for a long time, the old board, that was something they were proud of. And I never understood why they were proud of that, because the cost of electricity went up, that water bill went up, gas went up, oil went up, everything went up, and we didn't. And it's hard for me to understand why we would be so much cheaper than Tishomingo.
Yeah.
Now, if those numbers, I would kind of almost like to see a shock test, and I don't mind even doing that myself, and what I mean by that is, because you're gonna lose some members. It's just, that, letting you know what point is just a break-even level for you. How many members do you lose before it's just, you're the same as you
Yeah.
were? And then what point are you worse off? Now, do I think we would have a mass exodus of people leaving? No, but we would lose more than we lost when we increased to $10 a month. We lost 2 members. Because they were just mad.
Well, and some of them were non-players, like they didn't play
Yeah.
anymore. And we're gonna lose those.
Now, we've increased up a lot more since that happened.
Yeah.
Well, you can only absorb certain increases for so long before you have to make adjustments. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just,
Life.
that's life.
Yeah.
So,
And I think keeping it at 45 for seniors, Jeff, is, Chris, is,
Appreciate
Carl
it.
too.
Well, I'm not on social security yet, but
I think that alleviates a lot of people's concerns. Because I know that originally the deal was these people that living on a fixed income.
Yeah.
And my deal is on that is, I'm sorry, but if you can't afford $45 a month to play all the golf you can, then you probably shouldn't be playing golf.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to, that sounds rude and cruel, but
well, all the previous things we discussed up here, money's the solution. Our money's so tight right now, we need more revenue.
yeah.
The only question is,
are you
how much
wanting,
will we lose raising these rates?
are you looking at doing this first month of 25, or?
Well,
do we need-
we need to give notice for sure, and how much notice do we think is fair to give people a chance? Because really, all it is for me is going in your bank's website to cash management and just raising the rates.
Okay.
So we need to give people, if we're gonna do this, we need to give people an opportunity to opt out of it, to say, no, I don't wanna do that, I think. Isn't that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that probably needs to be a 30-day period where we maybe put it out in the paper.
Well, that,
And it needs to be pitched that, look, we've got a whole lot nicer golf course.
Well, here's the deal too, it's not just simple as just going in the website and increasing it. We gotta know who wants the members, the family deal, and who wants the individual deal.
Yeah.
Because we don't differentiate between that right now.
okay.
That's right. Yeah.
So it may be a 3-month deal to get all that information done.
Yeah. Well, just, well, the reason I was asking is what the expected timeframe was, if this is something we wanted to kick in at the first of the year, or?
I think the first year is way too soon,
Okay.
because that's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think we
Go
may
over phase.
need to be like a first quarter of 2024.
End of first quarter?
Well, I mean, because we gotta know who wants,
Yeah, I don't think we need to do it in the wintertime because
Right.
people aren't gonna be playing. And,
Okay.
there
Well,
aren't
we're
many
running
people
really
that
close
pay
up to
more
our
for
other
their
meeting
playing.
here,
So
so.
March,
Is that fine with you, CJ, if we did something like
March
that?
1st would be a good
Okay.
mark.
I'm okay with the fee schedule.
So,
I am too.
are we gonna just strictly discussion tonight and then come back to the next meeting with a more defined program, or are we gonna take rates into effect tonight with a motion.
Well, if we do, we need to start, if we're gonna, when's our next meeting?
It'd
So it'll
be
be the second Monday of
the
January.
January.
Okay, that's plenty of time, we can wait.
Gives you a month.
Yeah, because that's actually, the second Monday of January is, that'll give us time to still get it done by say, March 1.
Okay, so just discussion item only tonight, so there's no,
And then we'll vote on give everybody a chance to think about those numbers and then vote on it.
okay? All right, then moving on to the last item on the agenda, discussion and/or action on golf course maintenance, including topsoil, land clearing, painting of greens, and tip box installation.
We'll start with painting the greens. I've had a lot of folks want me to paint the greens throughout the winter time, which is not a problem. I predict if we're gonna do that, I'm probably gonna paint them every 2 weeks, which should only add $400 or $500 on color and expense.
For the
through
whole winter?
wintertime. Yeah, for the winter time. It doesn't really pose a health benefit to the grass. There is a heating agent on that, or in that chemical, but it's only good for just a couple days. That does help, kind of keep a chemical heat barrier on it for just a couple days, but, I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts before I just went to painting the greens.
I'm for it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
cheap,
so,
go ahead.
Okay.
to have a different color from the fairways this time of year would be awesome.
Okay.
And other courses do that.
Tip boxes on holes 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Are we good with adding an actual black tee box on those holes? All the other holes are already set up for adding such. Those are ones that we'd have to actually go in there and build boxes for, excluding 8 and 9. We just have to clear off where the lakeside tee boxes were originally. Just clear those off and clean those up. I was gonna leave that up to you guys. It's not a must. I just thought it might add a little different aspect to the golf course and make it a little bit longer in some areas.
room for that, you say?
Yep. And I can put flags up for you guys to go out there and look at.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Is it cost very much to do something like that?
Pretty much free.
Okay, get her done.
Okay,
The topsoil for all of our moguls, Carl had a good idea. I'm on board with it. We've got a way that we can get all of our topsoil for all of our moguls, everything for free. It just costs the course diesel. And that's basically right there in between number 9 blue tee box on top of the hill and number 3 tee box. And the way that I was gonna do it and such is make it like I was gonna build a pad, flatten it out, remove topsoil, as we need it. And then that also leave us a spot for a future building site in the future. If we ever do add another 9 holes, we'd have more of a central location for shop. But,
Okay.
Carl would be supplying the dump truck and the skid steer, and then we got the dozer on site, so.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with it.
No brainer.
so, do I hear a motion?
So move.
Okay,
I'll second.
so, I have a motion and a second to paint the greens, tip box installation, topsoil,
Moguls.
moguls. Okay. With motion second, roll call please.
Mr. Armstrong,
Aye.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
and Chairman Kathy.
Aye. Moving down, is there any trustee comments? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll say.
Motion second, roll call please.
Mr. Henderson,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong,
Aye.
Mr. Burridge,
Aye.
Mr. Kathy.
Aye. Thank you all,
Cut
and we made it with 1 minute to spare.
1 minute.